We ask AI questions on almost anything nowadays. On simple decisions, relationships, conflicts, etc. Using less and less of our own mind and our own capabilities. We will look in detail at how this AI psychosis is formed. We also cover psychological essentials we need to be mentally well off. Without them, the end result can be psychosis. Humans have 3 psychological needs that we require to feel mentally stable, and AI erodes all 3. Let's go through them and see where it goes wrong. First thing is autonomy. Feeling in control of one's life. This is reduced by letting the AI decide for us, making our own decisions less our own. Imagine you ask its opinion on one thing. It gives you a different answer than you would have wanted. And then you let go of your own opinion because it was different from AI's. This one, repeatedly having your choices overridden, can weaken your confidence in your own judgments. Then, losing this autonomy can make the mind live in a prolonged state of helplessness. This can make someone more vulnerable to psychosis because it increases powerlessness, all of which can distort how the brain predicts safety and agency. This helplessness and mistrust is just amplified when talking with AI because it validates all kinds of beliefs about anything, which, when prolonged, goes deep into delusions. This connects us to the next core need, competence. The sense that you can handle a task effectively. This is reduced by feeling less capable of doing certain things because of the belief that AI does them better. When we let AI be the authority on what sounds good or what is the correct way to do things, we stop trusting our own mind, taste and intuition. The thing is that AI does not know what's true or authentic. It writes from statistical averages or validation. It's predicting the next most likely word based on everything humans have created up until now, as well as based on how our psychology and nature works. It defaults to agreeing because it makes people happy, regardless if the belief or statement is correct or not. This enhances delusions, as well as erodes our trust in our own way of doing things if we let the AI decide for us. Your unique perspective might not be the collective average, and if we ask it whether our perspective is valid and it answers based on the biases, then because it sounds very convincing and plausible with its reasons, we take what it says to be correct. You can imagine what it does over time to shaping our views of things, even trusting our own way of forming our opinions and to our sense of confidence in ourselves. It's not to say that we should not use AI. There is nothing wrong with using AI to assist or automate tasks on our behalf. But the difference comes when AI use makes us feel less competent in something we would deep down like to be able to do ourselves, leading to feeling low, inadequate, and disconnected from our own voice. Our brain, in fact, craves the feeling of overcoming a challenge and succeeding with it, struggling with a task, improving as we go and eventually mastering it. That improves our sense of competence in ourselves. That was the second core need. Let's move to the next need. Relatedness. Feeling connected and caring to others. A part of being in psychosis is social disconnection and withdrawal. Being cut off from reality in a way that can make other people harder to trust or stay connected to. The danger comes exactly here. How speaking to an AI about our connections can actually lead to more disconnections. Let me explain why. There are several predictable psychological and behavioral patterns that happen when we vent about our relationships, and AI is trained to know these as well. First pattern is ally seeking. We want the listener, AI, to support us over the person who hurt us. This is a natural habit to restore our sense of safety, validation, and social power. Second predictable pattern is we have a reduced emotional filter. We may say things we don't fully mean in the heat of the moment, needing to deal with the shame and guilt later. Number 3, and this is important, venting does not reliably decrease anger. Instead, it sometimes amplifies it. This is because when we repeatedly tell the negative narrative, the frustration actually gets more ingrained and entrenched in our mind. This leads us to triangulation. It is understandable that it feels safer to talk to a third person than to face the hurt causer directly in order to avoid conflict, but this often reduces the ability to deal with the real person and solve the conflict with them. Also, venting often makes the listener like and support the speaker more, while treating the person being vented about less favorably, possibly shaping our own perspective of the person we are hurt by. This is the reason it's risky to vent to AI about our connections, as it could be leading to an even worse disconnection from people because of amplified anger, triangulation, and narrative entrenchment, as the AI asks follow-up questions that keep rehearsing the same story. And because the AI is built to mirror the user's emotional state, because it does not have its own emotional state, it answers with the same level of anger or seriousness, so the emotional reaction gets escalated. In those moments when we are hurt, angry, or frustrated, our brains naturally go into self-defense mode. We write our side of the conflict, leading the AI to know only our side without all the possible nuance of the situation. It is very rare for us to defend the person we are hurt by, and the AI also won't do that without us specifically prompting it to help us understand them. That amplifies the one-sidedness and disconnection from the other person. Then over time we might feel like we don't know how to be in relationships with people anymore, and that belief is detrimental to our mental well-being and competence. Ultimately, this all feeds into a concept of external authority and internal locus of control. Without internal locus of control, we feel quite powerless. Internal locus of control correlates with positive mental health, higher self-efficacy, and lower stress. It means that the outcomes we have are influenced by our own actions, choices, and efforts, versus external locus of control. Research consistently shows that a chronic external locus of control is a vulnerability factor for psychological distress, including anxiety, depression, and a higher susceptibility to psychotic experiences. External locus of control is about the belief that life's outcomes, what happens to us, is controlled by outside forces. This includes authorities, also fate, luck, and chance. Healthy individuals have balance of both, but to be able to recognize when we feel almost at the mercy of external forces, that's when our mental health suffers. We should rarely believe everything is entirely within or outside our control. When we blend both, that's conducive to higher happiness levels. Now, last thing to see through. is that AI sounds very confident in its answers, which makes our brain interpret it as having more authority because of its conviction. That makes us less likely to question what it says and treat it as authority. And now knowing what it might do to our relationships, our competence in handling our tasks or creativity, all we need is to be aware when its instructions erode our own mind.